Everyone knows that green kryptonite is Superman's weakness. In some versions it just saps his strength and powers, but in most cases it just goes straight to hurting and then killing him. But there are other forms of kryptonite: gold kryptonite, red kryptonite, silver kryptonite, blue kryptonite, and so on. But these all have very different effects on the Man of Steel, and over the years the writers have come up with some truly insane effects that kryptonite has had on Superman. And this is the 5 weirdest things that kryptonite has done to Superman. Number 5. We'll start with silver kryptonite in Superman/Batman issue 46. In this comic, silver kryptonite basically gets Superman stoned. He trips out, gets paranoid, and has a huge hunger craving, and he downs bowls of cereal and eats a shed load of brownies like there's no tomorrow. And this is probably the most normal thing that kryptonite has done to Superman on this list, because it does kind of make sense that radiation would trip him out. And this kryptonite would be great in a supervillain fight. I would love to see Lex Luthor pull out the silver kryptonite, then Superman gets high and just collapses on the floor giggling about the fact that Lex Luthor is bald. Number 4. In Supergirl 79, Supergirl goes to another reality, and while she's there, the local Superman gets exposed to some pink kryptonite, which turns him into a stereotypical homosexual man who can't believe just how smashing Jimmy Olsen is looking. As far as I've been able to ascertain, this is the first and only use of pink kryptonite, which isn't really that surprising, since it reads as a man having a magic stone that turns people gay. Sure, he's Superman and the kryptonite only affects him, but it still reads as homoerotic fanfiction. That, and the fact that it's probably really offensive to the gay community, is most likely why we haven't seen this more often. Number 3. Red kryptonite. Red kryptonite basically turns Superman into a dick. He is a jerk to everyone, bullies people, steals motorbikes, and the best example of this was probably in Superman 3. The kryptonite was a combination of green kryptonite and tar that made red and black kryptonite, and it turned Superman into a jerk, causing him to go on a drinking binge, sink an oil tankard, and then hook up with a Playboy model.
What did you have in mind?
Lots of things.
Oh yeah?
And then he turns into 2 people, one Superman, one Clark Kent, and the 2 then fight one another. Now, in most of the uses of red kryptonite that I've seen, it usually just turns Superman into a selfish jerk.
Get lost, Batman! This is my city, and I'm doing things my way!
Though in the comics, different exposure to red kryptonite has done some very different things, such as number 2. In Superman issue 226, Superman, Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen go watch King Kong together. Jimmy Olsen opens a Cracker Jack pack and wins a red kryptonite ring. Why is there a red kryptonite ring as a toy prize? Well, it's never really explained. But the red kryptonite causes Superman to trip out, then grow in size to the size of King Kong, which is a few stories tall. He then grabs Lois Lane and climbs to the top of a skyscraper with her in hand and tries to eat her as aeroplanes shoot at him. Why did the red kryptonite affect him this way? No one knows, but red kryptonite seems to do whatever the writer wants it to do at the time, such as number 1. In Action Comics issue 284, Superman needs to go through a portal to the Phantom Zone, but he is too big for the portal. But luckily he has a stash of red kryptonite at the Fortress of Solitude, and so he grabs it and it turns him into a child. He can now fit through the portal, but instead of doing this, he then goes out as a kid and wins prizes at a carnival for charity, and then decides to smash up a police station because no one will believe who he is, which is of course the responsible and logical thing to do in this situation. And that is the 5 weirdest things that kryptonite has done to Superman. There are several other weird ones, such as him growing a 3rd eye, his nails and beard growing extra long, and various other nonsense, but these seem to be the strangest, at least in my mind. Which one did you think was the strangest out of these though? And are there any other things kryptonite has done to Superman that you think should be on this list? Be sure to let us know in the comments, and I'd just like to say a quick thank you to those of you who donated to Needle Mouse Productions page on Patreon. Patreon is a crowdfunding site that is helping us to bring you more videos each week and to raise funds to adapt comic book stories into animated short films. And as always, thanks for watching and feel free to subscribe, share, like and comment.